Hello, everyone. Happy
Hello.
Monday. And
How is everybody?
if you're in the UK, happy Bank Holiday Monday, even more. We are so excited to be here at Cabaret Q&A. And I think Brian is watching this on his phone as well.
I am sorry. I'm checking the comments and everything suddenly appeared, and I was like, "Oh God!" By the way, everybody, do you love our fancy new branding? Do you love it? I do.
Yes. And we can play. I mean, we can totally play because the
Right?
real background is this one.
What did you do? Oh, for God's sake.
We had many discussions about what background we would use. So let us know in the comments which one you like. Obviously, we're using green because that's Ryan's favorite one. We are Cabaret Qing and Aing today.
We are. Oh, but before we Cabaret Q&A today, we are excited to announce, not fully yet. We're not giving too much away yet, but we have some really exciting stuff coming. There is some brand new content coming your way, which will be all about beating and overcoming your imposter syndrome. So we have done a lot of work over the past few months getting this ready. We're really proud of this material and all of the stuff that's coming. So excuse me, keep your eyes tuned, keep your ears tuned and eyes tuned. Keep your eyes peeled, ears tuned. That's what I'm going with.
Okay. So if you, over 70% of us have experienced or do experience imposter syndrome. And it's something that is one of those things where you think nobody else thinks that way.
Yeah.
It's kind of a feeling of people might find out the real me, or they won't like the real me if they do find out. So that leads to a lot of things that causes us not to be our most authentic and deserving selves. So we don't internalize some of the things that are about our successes. We tend to think about ourselves as, other people seem to have it all figured out and not me. Yeah. We don't ask for help. We might procrastinate. There are lots of things, and we cover it all because we've done so much work on this, and we are so very proud. The team at Confidence Through Cabaret pulling it all together. It's just super excited. So we will be launching it soon.
Exactly. As I say, keep those eyes and ears peeled and tuned to this. It's coming soon. We are really excited about this. There's been a lot of work going into it behind the scenes, and it's really good. It's really, really great. And this is all about how to, this is all about helping you to own your successes. So, there's nothing to lose, only something to gain with this course. So make sure that you are watching, make sure that you are keeping your tabs and subscribing to our feed so that you can get the latest information as soon as it comes out. So if you aren't subscribing and following, please make sure you go to the page and like and subscribe to everything. Don't forget, we're also on Insta, Confidence Through Cabaret. We are everywhere.
Everywhere. We're on YouTube. This is being streamed into YouTube as well. So check out our YouTube channel because we have new vodcasts going up, which are the video version of our podcast. So that comes out every Wednesday, as you already know. You can check out our podcast every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcasts. And also you can check it out on video on Thursdays. You can see the video version of it as well. So if you can have your Confidence Through Cabaret any way you like it served. It's a bit like,
I was going to say as well, we also have exciting news for this month as well, because this is Relationships and Renewal month, and we have a brand new masterclass out on the website. So if you're not a member of www.confidencethroughcabaret.com, which is a steal at $25 a month, then please go make sure you check it out, because we have the fabulous Becca Rich's brand new masterclass, and she is a holistic time expert. So if you are struggling with finding the time to schedule things in that you want to do, if you're really struggling with that work-life balance and you want to spend more time figuring out your values and figuring out exactly what it is that's important to you and spending more time doing that, this is the masterclass for you. So please go check it out.
Yeah. So yeah, it's fabulous. Absolutely mind-blowing. I do a lot of work around time management, but Becca's approach to the whole holistic part of things about living by your values and planning everything else in to creating your life is just such a fantastic concept. And we'll be talking to Becca next Monday. We'll also be promoting her podcast with us on Wednesday, which of course, as I just said, will go up on vodcast on Thursday on YouTube as well. So it is our Becca Rich week, really. Well, it's a whole month, but it's a whole week of, we're doing the Becca week, which I'm so excited about. But this month, so we did Magical Pleasure last month. Thank you for all of your contributions and participation. It was fabulous. This month is Relationships and Renewal. So we're always about pleasure, right? But
absolutely.
But this month we wanted to talk about various aspects of relationships. So you'll know, if you've been here a little while, that with Confidence Through Cabaret, we talk about personal life, work life, and stage life. But when we think about relationships, and we'd love to know what kind of relationship focus you would like this month, we could be talking about our relationship to ourself, our relationship to our body, our relationship to friends, or how to make friends, our relationships to our work colleagues, our relationship to our lovers or partners, our relationships to our children, our relationships to our parents or family members. You name it. Let us know what you would like to look at in relationships and all things that are relationships. And then renewal, and then renewing those.
Renewing that focus, renewing that passion, that love that you have for these things, making sure that balance is addressed so that you know that you've got the right things prioritized. Because if you're anything like us, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of you can identify with this, it's very easy to get out of whack with those things. I mean, God knows, I think the pandemic was a major reset for a lot of us when it came to this, because you really had to take a long, hard look about what was important to you in that time. And certainly that was, it was a real eye-opener for both you and I, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And that doesn't change. For a long time, I thought, well, once this is over, then we'll go back to normal. Like, then I can go back to my things. And I'm already hearing a lot of people talking about that. But it was interesting at the weekend. I was meeting a friend, because in the UK, after 14 months, we get to meet people outside.
I know.
So we've been locked up a long time. I know. So anyway, we met outside, went for a very long walk, and my friend was saying that it's going to be a real choice now, because she's really involved in like the band scene and DJing and clubbing and stuff like that, and then being out and loving that and wanting to be out doing that. But also having found hobbies or reignited, hobbies that they never had time for, and now they've made time in the last 14 months that they really are dedicated to and enjoying. And then it's kind of that choice of like, how do I balance things between, I want to be out doing my music and I also want to be home making my rug? Like, how do I balance that?
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be really interesting for a lot of us. And so I know not everybody is coming out of lockdown. I know some are going back in. I know everybody's at a different stage. Some were never really locked down. I get that. But this is a really, important process for us to question of, what do I really want? And really renewing your focus. So, everybody will have heard, about, finding the happiness within, and about, kind of loving ourselves in order to love others. But it almost kind of becomes like just noise, that we hear all these things and they're truisms, and we go, yeah, I get it, and then we do nothing with it.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to take this whole month and really kind of think about, so what are we renewing? What is our focus? And really aligning with our values. And that's where Becca Rich's work with holistic time management is so great, because, we get an opportunity to be able to say, okay, so what are my values? And then how do I choose to spend my time?
Yeah.
And in what ways, like what is my work going to be like? So maybe you can't change your job, but you can certainly change your, you know, your approach to things. You can certainly change your relationships with your colleagues and so on. And actually, I've been doing quite a lot of work around toxic positivity in the last weeks, in getting ready for our Impostor course. And, you know, there's a lot of really cool stuff that we can share with you around, you know, getting really clear on what your emotions are about.
Mm.
And what they're telling you, because our feelings are data that tell us about whether we're aligned with our values or not.
Yes.
Right. So if we're feeling uncomfortable, then what is that about? And getting really deep into what does that mean? And then the chances are that those feelings of less comfort, although there's no bad or good feelings, but those feelings of less comfort are probably very anchored to the fact that we're off track with our own values.
Mm-hmm.
So renewing your focus starts with you renewing your relationship to your values. And Becca Rich's workshop is just perfect for that.
And just a reminder again, there's as you say, there's nothing negative about that, and there's certainly nothing negative about discovering that, because if you are feeling like you're slightly ill at ease, or if you're feeling like something's just not working for you, it's absolutely fine to recognize that. And that's something I think a lot of us feel uncomfortable about in itself, because taking that moment to sit there and go, oh God, there's actually something that's not really working for me here, can actually be a really painful moment. So try not to judge yourself for feeling that. It's just about being honest with yourself and understanding where you are in your journey. There is nothing wrong. There is nothing bad about understanding that something isn't working for you. It's all about addressing that so that you can make the best situation for yourself and for those around you as well. You know, if you're feeling happier, more productive, more positive, then other people around you will feel the same way as well. So it's, you know, it's as much about putting a hand out as it is helping yourself up, you know?
Yeah, and then it's always going to link back to my favorite topic of all time, which is boundaries, because it enables us to really understand where our boundaries are, and it enables us to be able to really flourish, and it enables us to be able to sort of say, I need to be surrounded by people who are supporting me positively. And of course, you know, the easy answer would be, oh, cut everybody else out. But that's not possible all the time, especially if it's, you know, very close family, or, you know, our parents or our children, for example, and you know, people who are very close. And I think it's really more about kind of how do I manage that relationship? Well, we don't manage it effectively if we don't have those boundaries.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I heard a really cool podcast at the weekend while I was doing some more research. And it was talking all about boundaries.
Right.
And this was somebody that most of you will know, but maybe not, was somebody called Brené Brown, who does a lot of research around shame.
Right.
And she had heard a story in an interview that she had done. Somebody else told her this. And then she just kind of forgot about it. And one day it came back to her in her mind. And she thought that was such a great way of describing boundaries. And that is, if you know, those really, like in Canada anyway, we call them suspension bridges. And then we must call them suspension bridges everywhere. But the ones that you walk across, like we have a suspension bridge in Bristol in our home, but these are ones that you walk across, right? Like they're not just suspended between two surfaces with, you know, with nothing underneath.
Sure.
They're the kind that you walk on, so they're really narrow. They're like only just wide enough for an adult,
right?
And then they have like those kind of, I guess they'd be wire cables that you would hold on to.
Oh, are these the ones that move?
Yeah, and they swing, and especially if I'm on it, because I swing them up and down like it's a roller coaster, and then I swing them side to side.
One of those people fully through and through.
I am. I went to one when I had a skiing accident when I was a teenager. I went on one of my crutches. My teachers freaked out.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And they're the kind that you really could fall. Like you really could. You probably won't, but you know, if you're careful, you won't fall.
Yeah.
Anyway, but she had been Brené Brown had been told this analogy by somebody about boundaries, about how when you let your children go out into the world, or when we go out into the world, when we're walking across one of those suspension bridges, having those like little wire kind of side, they don't hold you on, but there's something to hold on to. And they're also something that kind of keep us centered on that bridge while we're walking so we don't fall off, right? But if you didn't have those there, if you didn't have those wire things to hang on to, how would you get across? So imagine those wire kind of guide ropes on the sides to hang on to. Imagine those as your boundaries. So there's big spaces between them, right? There's probably only 2, maybe 3 of those, horizontally to hold on to.
Right.
But they won't keep you on the bridge. They're just guide ropes.
Yeah.
If they weren't there, how would you get across? So would you crawl? I mean, you certainly wouldn't jump and skip it like I do.
I mean, you might.
Well, there's only 1 or 2 things is going to happen. You're going to get across more slowly, or you're going to fall, right?
Yeah.
And die because it's high.
Yeah.
So those, if you think about those guide ropes as your boundaries, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. They keep you in line. They keep you on. Right. And they keep you from, you can still fall, but they keep you safer.
Yeah, sure.
So I love that analogy about boundaries, is kind of that. So where are your guide ropes?
And if you have them in place, they're ultimately guiding you to the right place. So they're keeping you on track for your destination, right?
And you don't have to crawl or lay on your stomach and pull your way across.
Yeah.
And you are more likely to stay on, right? Like thousands and thousands and thousands of people go on the ones in Vancouver where I'm from, every year. So, and people don't fall. So, but that's because those guide ropes are there. And so when we talk about renewing our focus and renewing our relationship with ourselves, and really, it's important that we know our values. And it's important that we, from there, can ascertain our boundaries. And our boundaries come out of knowing what's truly important to us, i.e. your values, and living by that. Yeah. And then determining your boundaries so people don't come in, like people don't invade your bridge, but also you don't fall off it, right? Like it just keeps you on your course. Yeah. And I was thinking a lot about that in terms of, self-relationship, and in terms of things like time. Yeah. Because we're talking about this week, when we launch our masterclass on the confidencethroughcabaret.com, on the member suite, we have that understanding of managing our time. But then there's, the kids need this, and our parents need this, and our friends need that, and our community needs it. And all of a sudden we have no time left. It's most especially, but not only for women, is that, all of a sudden we have no time left for ourselves, right? Or we put all our time and efforts into our career that we have left over, and then we're always exhausted. We have no time left for self-care and so on. Yeah. So having those boundaries of kind of knowing when to switch off. And I'm really good, since we did our spring clean challenge. When was that in?
That was about 2 months
March,
ago.
right?
Yeah, it's March.
End of March. So yeah. So I'm really good about most evenings, not always, but most evenings switching off. But that's better, right?
That is a lot better.
Like the old me, keep thinking of renewing our focus. The old me would have shut off and gone, nah, I can't do this.
Yeah, sure, exactly. And again, this is something that we do want to stress as well. When we do have those moments when we slip back into an old habit, or if we do something, if we do something that contravenes our new focus, don't beat yourself up for it. Yeah. These are the things that happen. It takes a long time to break a pattern and to create a new one. It takes a long time. It's a whole process, isn't it? Something like 28 days. You have to keep doing something to make sure it stays as in your focus.
At least, yeah.
So if you're committing to something, and if you're committing to that thing, it can be a rocky road. When it came to certainly for myself, when it came to instituting certain boundaries, it took me a whole minute to really to figure out where I was, to orient myself across that. It wasn't an immediate process. there were certainly points where I just went, oh, I've got this now. I understand it. I get it. But this is a process of renewal in and of itself, because you are always recommitting and renewing your focus and your guidance for the to guiding yourself through this situation. So when you enforce your boundaries, it's like mini revelations. You keep having these little mini revelations as you go, and you keep that commitment renewed across the sort of a period of time. You find out more and more as you go along as well. It's actually a really exciting process, because you get to find out exactly what your limits are, you get to find out exactly what your values are, and you get to find out where your passion truly lies for a lot of this stuff, and certainly I think that's something that everybody can relate to in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
There's always that case of, okay, I really want to do this. Like, I really want to be able to practice more self-care. I want to be able to do things like, when we talked to Akriti last week, one of the things that she was saying was about, a friend of hers who just wants to have a bath, once a week, just a half-hour bath. She loves it. She wants to have a bath just, once a week, but she has one a month and goes, oh, I can't, and it's like, oh, well, there's something there that is blocking you from having that simple half hour to yourself. Yeah. And it's probably the various things that are getting in your way, the various overcommitments that we have to, I'm sure, extremely important things in your life. But if you neglect those, if you let those boundaries go, then eventually you start to lose yourself, you lose your end point, and you get lost on that journey completely. So this is as much about discovering exactly what you want, where you want to go, and how you want to do it, and also about getting as much pleasure without, it's not Magic of Pleasure Month, but it is something that is a continued focus. It's always Magic of Pleasure Month. This is a way of wringing out as much pleasure from that experience as you can. Because if you're doing it on your terms, with your voice and with your idea and presence, then you get to define all those parameters, and you can get to wring them as much fun out of this as possible. Yeah. So, and that's always good, right?
Absolutely. So this is Cabaret Q&A. And some of you might be watching this going, so where's the cabaret part? But actually, this has always been our message, right? This is about Cabaret and you. And we've talked before about the fact that Cabaret is about self-expression.
Yep.
And that's exactly what we are talking about.
Exactly.
If you go to confidencethroughcabaret.com, on the landing page, you can download a document that we wrote that was in the wonderful I Am magazine as well. Yes, ways to boost your confidence with Cabaret. And what you're talking about in that example that we explored last week with Akriti is about celebrating your body and self-care.
Yeah, absolutely. And if there's anyone who is a member of the Cabaret community who is watching this, and who is, especially if you're just starting out, or actually, to be fair, even if you've been doing this for a long time, because I've been doing Cabaret for over 11 years now. Excuse me. One of the things I've had to learn along the way is that, first off, you never start out fully formed. It just does not happen. No matter what the expectation is like, from, especially now with the pressure of so much social media, it often feels like you have to appear fully formed in this amazing, grandiose vision. And that is not the case. As you go through your career in entertainment or working in the arts of any kind, in really of any form of expression, you refine your voice as you go along. You will strengthen your boundaries as you go along as well. To relate it back to that, the amount of times you will have to deal with promoters who willingly will, try and trespass your boundaries, will, dead name you, for instance, use inappropriate terminology to describe what you're doing, use photographs that you haven't approved on event flyers and things like that. And one of the things that you get used to doing is saying no. Saying no to for instance, to a promoter who has you've sent him a selection of images that are pre-approved to use, and they go and use whatever they found on the internet. No. Happens the amount. The amount of times I've turned up to a gig and someone's used a photograph of another performer with my name, because they read my old blog and took the first photograph they found and just put it on the website. Not even kidding you. You'll also get to learn where the line is with fans, with people who occasionally will push the boundary far too much and try and ask you for intrusive information about your life, and you have to say no. This is a process of finding out what your limits are, as well as figuring out what your voice is, what you want to say, and how you want to say it. So this is that whole kind of thing about, there we go, raising your voice, right? Figuring out what it is you want to say, how you want to say it, and learning how to do that comfortably and with your own boundaries intact.
Owning your space is such a key lesson from Cabaret. It really is, really is. And, what you're talking about, okay, we're talking about literal cabaret, but actually that's why we started Confidence Through Cabaret, because it is a wonderful analogy of, if you're online, if you're doing social media stuff, if you're on Zoom and you're talking to your colleagues or, your clients, those are all your stages. It's all so relevant about, where your boundaries are and what you're willing to share and how you share it and how you own your space. These are all very relevant.
Right. In fact, one of the things that I've seen a lot talked about online recently, and I think this is a really great example as to why this is so interchangeable. There's a call for a particular type of normalization. So often you see things online like these little memes that sort of say, normalize saying this to this person, right? One of my favorite ones, and this is something I learned a while back when I kind of left corporate stuff to try and be an artist full time, was normalize not giving an excuse or not clarifying why you need time off from a boss. They don't need to know why you need to take your time off. That time off is for you to take. So if you're putting in a request to take time off, it is not a requirement that they know what you're doing and why you're doing it. It's your time to take. But it's often made to feel like we have to give these reasons. You earn that holiday time. You are owed that holiday time. You don't need to specify why you need it off. It's one of those things about boundaries again.
And it's funny because people will ask you, coming back to, relationships, people will ask you about like, what are you doing on your holiday? Or what have you been doing when you've been off? And, you don't owe them an explanation, but you can say, I've been taking some time out for me, or I've been relaxing, or, you don't have to go into detail because you owe nobody that explanation.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly used to find when I was working in, I won't say the name, but I used to find quite often, if I asked for time off, one of my bosses, when I worked in a certain part of certain sector of the company, if I said, I need some time off, they would literally turn to me and say, well, what do you need it for? And it was straight down the line. Well, what do you need it for? It doesn't matter. It's none of your business.
No.
It's my time. Oh, well, X, Y, and Z. No. It's my time.
Right. And I think that's the thing is, if you're asking for special circumstances where they can't afford people time off, then you might need to say something a little bit more like, my mental health is suffering, or, like you could, but again, you don't have to go into any details about things.
No.
And that's the thing is how much detail you feel you need to go into or not. And, that self-expression is your choice, what you share and what you don't share. And that includes also with taking to your stage, how much of you share, because I've been sharing some stuff lately that I'm like, but actually that's not a personal thing. There are differences and there are boundaries. And that's why we've spent so much time talking about boundaries, because particularly in this day and age where people feel entitled to know all the things about you or think they know all the things about you. If you're a public figure on social media, you get to decide what parts of you share on your stage and what parts you don't.
Yep, absolutely.
I love this. I love this. Next week, we are doing Coffee in the Community. Next Monday, we will be live. We'll pop into the community during this week and talk about the theme of Relationships and Renewal Month, and just find out about what kind of relationships you want to talk about, or what kind of renewal you're aiming for, or both. And then we can get stuck in and get involved. Very exciting.
And it'll be a slightly different time next week because we'll be live at 5 p.m. GMT as opposed to the typical 1 p.m. So it'll be 5 p.m. GMT. We'll be live in the community, but we'll probably also be live on the Facebook page as well. And on the, we're trialing a few new things. So there's a number of different ways you might be able to catch us. But we'll be live with Becca Rich, and it's going to be super exciting. So, come and join us. It's going to be a really fun chat. Becca's masterclass is really eye-opening. We had a lot of fun talking with her on the podcast as well, which goes up on the Wednesday, as we've said, and doing our Confidence with Coffee segment, which shortly follows it. But the actual masterclass itself is super eye-opening. There are a lot of stuff that there's a lot of stuff in there that I have definitely taken on board and I'm using myself. I know that you're the same, Heather, right?
Well, we've done some Clubhouse together as well. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. I'm so excited about this month. I loved Magical Pleasure Month. In fact, if there was one theme that I could have as like a forever theme, that would be Magical Pleasure, because it is so much fun. But this is still as much about pleasure. We're just taking a different angle on it, really. And that's the bit. So we will see you popping into the community during the week, and we will see you next Monday, 5 p.m. so that we're in line with our North American friends in time zones. So I will be on Clubhouse, so I'll post that up as well, doing some stuff on toxic positivity and anxiety and getting into feelings. So that'll be fun. I'll put some stuff on there. I know. This is so much. It's fabulous. Not enough hours.
And definitely make sure you keep watching our feed, because there is our brand new focus on imposter syndrome will be coming very soon. There's a whole thing coming with this. We've been working so hard on it behind the scenes, and no matter how your imposter manifests for you, whether that's in your personal life, your work life, or your stage life, no matter where it appears, this will be the thing for you. This will be a great way of you tackling that, learning how to work with and overcome this. So make sure you're watching those socials.
Yes. But for now, that we're going to call a close to the Cabaret Q&A. My name is Heather.
And my name is Ryan.
And we are so thrilled that you were here for this. Comment, share with us about relationships renewal. What do you want to cover? What do you want to look at this month? And we'll make sure that everybody's voice is heard, because that's a fundamental part of our Cabaret Foundation.
Yes.
So let's remind them of the thing.
Everybody, this is Confidence Through Cabaret, and we want to remind you that it is your body, your world, your stage.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.